Today on Newsbytes, Clinton's Trump deprogramming, EU embracing 1984, and trans people at risk. Stick around for these bites and more, all on today's Newsbytes. Okay, real fast. A poll of 1,025 U.S. adults shows 70% of Democrats and 28% of conservatives say they'll get the latest mRNA injection against COVID. Americans are evenly divided on getting the booster. 43% are likely, with 50% unlikely, with only 6% having actually received it. Those older and college-educated are more likely to get the juice. All right, here's the scoop. The U.S. BLS claims to have added 336,000 jobs in September, nearly double expectations of 170,000. However, the unemployment rate held steady at 3.5%, but household surveys showing it at 3.8% with total job gains of just 86,000. Wage growth was still smaller than expected. The official strong jobs number raises the risk the Fed will hike rates further to combat inflation. Private sector hirings are slowing, with full-time workers down 22,000, part-time workers up 151, with multiple job holders also up 123,000. Okay, check this out. Biden attempts to explain with an analogy that the media's negativity on the economy is why so many Americans are beyond frustrated with current economic conditions. Watch.
Why do you think most people still don't feel positive or feel good news about the economy?
You all are not the happiest people in the world. What's your report? And I mean it sincerely. You turn on the television and there's not a whole lot about boy saves dog as he swims in the lake, to say, it's about, somebody pushed the dog in the lake. I mean, I get it, but
Okay, here's the latest. A study found all trans people taking gender-affirming hormones are at a significantly increased risk of deadly heart attack, strokes, high blood pressure, and high blood fat and cholesterol levels. Trans men taking hormones were 93% more likely than normal men and 73% more likely than normal women to have cardiovascular disease. Their incident rate was around 3% versus 1.5% for men and 1.7% for women. Trans women taking testosterone had 63% higher heart disease risk than normal women and over double that of men. Hormones like estrogen are associated with fat gain, inflammation, and autoimmune risks. All right, in case you missed it, in her losing presidential campaign against Trump in 2016, Clinton called his supporters deplorables. Now she's elevating the bar again against MAGA cultists needing reprogramming. Take a listen.
There wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Okay, Orban of Hungary accused the EU of creating an Orwellian world, citing the European Peace Facility, which he says hypocritically funds weapons transfers to Ukraine and prolongs the war, costing Ukrainian lives. Drawing comparisons to Orwell's 1984 and its dystopian ministries of peace and truth, Orban also criticized the EU's new Media Freedom Act for seeking to control the media. He invoked Orwell's concept of doublethink, holding contradictory ideas simultaneously, adding Brussels illegally raped Poland and Hungary by forcing through the Migration Pact, which tries to enforce migrant quotas for EU members. All this as Europe faces unprecedented migration crises much like the US. Those are today's bites, which are on our website at Disclose.tv. Subscribe and leave those comments below.